up? What's up, you guys? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, you guys? So we're going live with one of our clients. And we're going to be talking about why did they choose the St. Louis market? Choosing the St. Louis market is what we're going to be talking about today. So we'll wait for a second for them to jump on. Oh, just saying their names. So we'll add them in just 2 seconds. As I get ready to add them, what I want you guys to do is drop your city in the chat. And then I want you guys to drop a 1 in the chat if this is your first time going live in the Bae Hive. Drop a 1 in the chat if this is your live in the Bae Hive, and we'll get started here shortly.
Hello.
What up?
Hi, guys.
Hi.
What's happening?
Hi. Huh?
So what's up? What's up? We'll move
What's
a
up?
little closer.
Let me turn this up.
Can you hear us okay?
Yeah. Thank you guys for...
Oh, my bad. We're just trying to make sure everything is right for you.
I appreciate it. That's what's up. So we got St. Louis in the building. We got Brooklyn in the building. You're dropping a 1 in the chat. I think there's kickback. I wonder why.
No. Can you hear us now?
Hello.
Yo.
For some reason, it's like we're on the call and it's like I can hear myself. Can you? It's like doubling.
Let me get out and get back in.
Okay. Yeah, it was like echoing. You're dropping a 1 in the chat if this is your first time going live in the Bae Hive. Drop a 1 in the chat if this is your first time going live in the Bae Hive. And I'm going to introduce myself shortly. And then I just want y'all to rep your city. Tell me where you're tuning in from. You guys, if you're not new here, then you already know where I'm tuning in from. There they are. I'm tuning in from St. Louis. So just drop in the chat where you guys are tuning in from. And drop a 1 if this is your first time going live in the Bae Hive. Okay. Hello.
All right, let's try this again.
That's so odd. Okay, we can roll with it.
Nah,
It's like I'm on a shelf, like it's a big deal, but it's okay. I got it.
if you're
So
echoing, that's not good for you.
Ooh, it's pretty deep.
Is it echoing for anyone else? Or is it just you? But it's okay, I got it. If you're echoing, that's not good.
See?
It doesn't sound it.
No, we pulled up the live
I
on our
pulled up a
phone.
live on my personal page. And it
I'm
don't
sorry.
sound bad to me. I don't know.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Everything is everything. Thank you guys for jumping on. Okay, so let's get into the hive, you guys.
I saw
Welcome.
Brooklyn in the house.
Yeah, we got Brooklyn, we got St. Louis. Drop your city in the chat where you guys tuning in from. If this is your first time, somebody said echoing. It's like,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Somebody said y'all sound fine. I'm confused. It's not echoing for us. And I went on my personal page. It sounded good, but
I wonder why I would be. Well, you guys can still hear us. So if you guys can hear me okay, can you just give me some hearts?
Brooklyn. What up, Brooklyn? You already know.
Chicago.
sounds fine.
Sounds
I don't
fine.
know.
Okay, cool. It's cool. There's no echo gut. All right. The devil trying to, you know what I'm saying? I'll let y'all
Oh,
get
guys.
here.
It said guys. They meant guys.
Okay. I only hear it when Gabby talks. I don't know why. All right, you guys, welcome to my live. I'm super excited for you guys to meet my clients, the Heart Talks. I'm going to let them introduce themselves here shortly. But before we get into all of the things and get into their business, I want to introduce myself just in case this is your first time going live with me. Welcome to the Bae Hive. My name is Gabby. I am the Real Estate Bae, and I'm located here in St. Louis, Missouri. And I help first and new investors find and fund investable, profitable real estate in the St. Louis market. So I define new really quickly because I know the Heart Talks already own property. I define new by 3 to 5 doors or less. Okay. So before we get into all the things, I'm going to have you all introduce yourself and just tell the people who you are.
Okay. So my name is Janoka.
I'm Anthony.
Who are we? We're a married couple from Brooklyn, New York, now living in Dallas, Texas for the past 5.5 years. What else? Most people know us because we paid off our debt, $114,000 in 23 months. That's what made us start an Instagram page. Over time, we were like side hustling. That's how we basically cut the debt so quickly. Side hustling, raising our income. Then we started a cleaning business while we were getting out of debt to assist us with that. And we started speaking about it more on Instagram and social media. And we have a course on how you can get your cleaning business up and running without cleaning any homes. Since then, we've retired. Anthony has retired. We bought our first home. We have our first baby on the way, March 1st.
5 weeks.
Yeah, we launched a podcast at the end of last year, Heart Dog Hustle podcast. So that is all that we have going on.
In terms of real estate, we got our first property in October of 2020.
August of 2020, yeah.
And our second property was technically our primary residence, which we just moved in. And our third was with Gabby.
Yep.
Real Estate Bae.
Yes.
I love it. I love this story because you know what, you guys, when I watch you all, it feels like, and tell us more about what I'm about to say, it feels like the perfect story. Like you went to college, I'm just assuming, and then you paid off all your debt, and then you like and then you got married, and like it's everything is like lined up, and then you started investing, and then you had the baby. And so first of all, I just love that. But was that intentional? Did you intentionally almost like plan out, we're going to start the business here and the baby here and real estate here? Was all of that intentional? And if not, how did that all come about, that journey?
Baby was definitely intentional. What would you say about the business?
Her father always gives her thanks, and he's like, I don't know how you did everything so perfectly, like in line. But yeah, we knew each other since high school, before middle school. Dated in high school, got married after college. We moved in together, and we put our debt together, and then we said we're going to pay off this debt. In order to pay off this debt, we started raising our income. And then in order to raise our income, we started a business. And then while we're on that journey, raising our income, starting a business, we said, all right, now we're in a financial position to feel more comfortable with a property. Because we said worst case scenario is you don't have any tenants and you don't got any money, and like, how are you going to pay for it? So that part of the journey was very intentional. And then the baby side of it, we've been pushing it back for like, I don't know how many years now.
Well, what happened was we paid off my debt. We paid off the debt by my 30th birthday. And we said that we were going to start like trying then. Like, okay, once I turned 30. But then we were like, I don't know if we want to do that. Let's enjoy some of this money that we just paid off.
Yeah.
So, so everything really has been intentional when it comes to that.
I absolutely love that. I specifically love that for anybody that is at the beginning of what you guys shared. One of the things I want to ask, and if you don't know, if you don't know this couple, then hopefully we can get into a lot of their information today. But you guys are really responsive. You guys are really fast. Anthony sent a DM and said, I'm ready to join the agency. I said, okay, the price goes up tomorrow. He said, send me an invoice, and he paid within like 10 minutes. Like how fast you guys respond and move and do things blows us back. And so the question that I have is, and this is for the people, a lot of people keep getting stuck. But as you share your journey, you guys are just like moving along. We're going to do this, and then you do it. How do you keep that momentum and not overthink when it's time to make a decision and execute?
So before I said, send me that invoice, you don't know the preparation and the conversation that I had with her.
Okay.
Before that, I knew that we was going to do it. Once she gave me the okay a while ago, but it was like, all right, once I saw like the price going up, I was like, all right, this is the time to do it. But a lot of that preparation came before I said, send me that invoice.
Yeah. So how we act on it, I think at this point, before we paid off our debt, we weren't into entrepreneurship. We weren't into investing or anything like that. Because I know a lot of people say, don't pay off your debt, invest in property, things like that. But we knew nothing about that. So for us,
Sure.
paying off our debt was our journey and our step into this world of entrepreneurship and investing. So for us, that was perfect. There's no other way to do that. But since doing that, I think just being around other people, conversations and stuff like that, we understand how business works. Right.
Sure.
So we understand that which, you know, and a property is a business. We understand that there's going to be losses, but there's also going to be wins. And we're willing to take that risk. We're willing to know that we always say you lose more when you don't do something. Right. Because you're just wondering, if I did it, then maybe it would have worked out or whatever the case may be. So now, if it makes sense for both of us, not just him, because everything makes sense for him. If it makes sense for both of us, I got to give the green stamp on it. If it makes sense for both of us, then we're like all in.
And if I could have a mentor that's going to get me there
Quicker.
Twice as fast, three times as fast, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, I love that. I love the fact that you guys, it's almost like you fell into this journey. You know what I mean? That's what I'm receiving, is like, we knew we had to pay off debt, and then all this other stuff was in response to how well we did that. Then we became the, you know, gurus in business, but that was in response to us being obedient to paying off this debt. So let that be a lesson learned to anybody listening. You definitely don't need to pay off all your debt to invest in real estate, but their story is just absolutely phenomenal. So you guys already, before you joined Real Estate Bae, you had I don't remember if it was Section 8, but you had a property in Texas.
Yep.
Can you talk to us a little bit about that acquisition?
Yeah. So we were working with a wholesaler down here in Texas. We got the property. We were looking for properties for, again, it was all about mentorship. So I had someone kind of walking us through it in a way, but they were like so many steps ahead of us. It was like we were always playing catch up. It was like, all right, we got a property under contract. Let's do it. It's like, we don't know anything about it. Like, what's the numbers? So it's going to be a good deal. So we had mentorship, but it wasn't as detailed, obviously, as you guys are doing. So we got that property under contract for what, 60? Was it 60 or 80?
No, it was 80.
We got that property under contract for 80,000, and the whole thing was like, it's gonna appraise for like 170. Crazy numbers. We was like, all right, let's do it. We put 20,000 into it, which brought it to 100,000. And then the appraisal came back at like
120 something.
120.
Yeah.
And we was like, wait, no. It was like, no, we said 170. How are we at 120? And it was like, the area is not appraising for that type of property in that market. And it was like, here's what a $170,000 property looks like. And I said, oh wow, ours doesn't look like that. So the property appraised at 120. We went back because the property happened to just sell in that area for 140 on the block.
Yeah.
For 140.
Awesome.
So it's like, all right, we're gonna match you with this 140, even though you probably shouldn't get to 140.
So we fought it.
We matched that 140, and then we kind of left. We were supposed to cash out everything. We got out like $5,000. But then we got a tenant in there for $1,700 rent. The property is worth 140. So, you know, we're like, all right, we got a good deal. We're cash flowing we were cash flowing like maybe like $1,000, because the mortgage is only like $400 or $500. So the cash flowing about $1,000. We got Section 8 tenant in there really quickly. Section 8 tenant moved out and absolutely trashed the place. So all the revenue, all the cash flow we got for that full year went back into that property, just doing it over again from scratch.
Yeah.
So were they disgruntled, and did you have a property manager through that process, or did you?
So we didn't have a property manager at that time. We didn't have a property manager. Now we have one. But no, we didn't have one. They were, I don't know if they were disgruntled, because a few times there were some issues with plumbing that was happening, but we kept following up, and then there was no response. So we thought that it was working. So we sent out like 3 different plumbers and to fix the situation every time they said something, but then they never said anything after that. We reached out. Don't get me wrong. We reached out. We tried, whatever, but they never said anything. So our assumption was, which is on us, that that the issue was rectified, was fixed.
Sure.
And just as responsive as we are with you, like the tenant was like, yo,
can you imagine how we are with
we're like, all right, cool. You want me to come out there and fix it myself? Like, we were on
it.
So
yeah. And so that was the only issue, if you will. Other than that there was nothing else indication, because they didn't have to pay anything. Their Section 8 had covered their whole their whole
The
thing,
voucher.
the
The whole thing.
voucher. Yeah, so it was no other indication of anything happening.
So with that story, because a lot of people have bad stories like that, horror stories, you guys had a few bumps in the road. It's super normal in business as well as real estate. How did you guys bounce back and then say, let's invest in St. Louis? Like, what did that conversation look like? And, what made you guys pull the trigger with the St. Louis market after what you went through?
I think the conversation just was, we understood that every household is not going to be like that. I mean, that would be unrealistic for me to think that because this happened at one, it's going to happen at all. Like, I mean, we just not negative thinkers like that. I don't know if you will. And then we realized, okay, we probably just need a property manager in place as well. Like that would have probably helped us to see things because they may go in twice a year to check on things. They would be more diligent, even though we were, but they know ways around it, the law, everything like that. So that was kind of our thought process on it. So we got a property manager on it now, but that's how we are going to move forward with it, moving forward with any of our homes. And we understand people say, it's just one home, you can do it on your own, but we don't want to. So, and, we don't want to have to do that. So that was the conversation.
And I think we got started with you. I think what really drove us in was I think you were doing an IG live about creating cash flow of $10,000. Like you had a strategy around $10,000 a month in real estate income. And I think that was always been our goal. I think every new entrepreneur thinks about this $10,000 a month as the golden arches of business. I get $10,000, I'm lit for life. We realize that we're not, but we realize that's the first step to feeling like you've made something of the business that you started. So once you did that IG live, I think about $10,000 a month and your strategy around it, but also not just that, how are you going to find a property? How are you going to renovate? How are you going to make sure that the ARV is going to, the after repair value is going to be what it is? I think that's what kind of drew me into it. Because the first time we went in, it was we didn't really have that understanding, but the second time we got with you, it was all right, you understand the real estate market, and Dallas is really expensive too.
Yeah.
So you was you could get a $60,000 property, and I'm we had to see what these properties look like.
Yeah. I'm 60,000. I mean, first of all, we're coming from Brooklyn, New York. So you got a $60,000 home. I'm ain't nobody living in that. You got to knock that down. And do it all over.
But I think your walks with Bae kind of showed us, all right, the markets are different no matter where you go. So $60,000 in Texas may be $60,000 in St. Louis may be $125,000 property in Texas. So I think just having those walks with Bae was really helpful for us too.
I know, I love that. So you guys were really watching everything we do. We find that to be true. In fact, when I stop doing the walks or I slow down or I'm in the office more, people are like, are you going to do a walk soon? So I appreciate that those help because they are not easy to do. They take a lot of time.
I'm sure.
So we came to the St. Louis market through Instagram, really. I think you guys heard me on a podcast as well. I'm 95% sure.
Maybe. I don't know.
It's cool.
We're friends now, so.
Right. So we heard about what we do and started to watch what we do on Instagram. One of the misconceptions, no matter how much I say this isn't going to be easy, but this isn't going to be hard, is that people think that I'm a magician, and when they join me, you guys, I'm going to find them a house in 10 days. And so I can find you a house sometimes, but the vast majority of clients, maybe 80% of clients, it may take, that's why our new promise is 90 days. It may take 60, 70 days. And so I want you guys to share your experience. Once you came on with the agency, it was not an easy down the yellow brick road. Can you talk about some of the houses we found, how long it took, and just be real with the people on actually getting in and how tough it kind of was at the beginning?
Yeah, I think I was really jealous watching you tell other people that you got their houses for them. So I'm on IG Live sitting there waiting for my text message to come through. I'm seeing these posts go out of how houses are being beautified and stuff like that. So it took us.
I don't think it took that long, but when did your price go up? Then I could know when we signed up. That's kind of was it October?
The price went up. Gosh,
October, November.
I was gonna say November.
We were in New York.
November. I just don't remember what day.
We were in New York. That was Christmas time going by Melissa, I remember. So I want to say it took us a month and a half, if that. But we had a house, and then I think we had a house, but then we did it because something happened with the property.
Yep.
Right? Something happened with the property, so we had it, and then we did it. And then you were calling us even on weekends.
You were very responsive on that too.
You were speaking on weekends. I know we were on our way to like a friend's house, calling saying, "This is what's happened. I need you to check this out. Check it in your email." So a lot of that, we were getting emails every day of different houses, and I'm like, "Are you checking this out? Because are you looking at it?" He's like, "They supposed to be looking at it. I don't know if you want to check it out." So I want to say maybe like 6 weeks total, if that, to lock in a home. To really be serious about the home, and the process of all of that, I find to be, I think that's when he showed it to me. That's why I agreed, because I'm like, oh, the system, the portal, everything like that, I think is great with the pictures and the money and seeing the breakdown. But I think that as anybody investing, you have to understand that things come up as well.
Yeah.
So I can't like hold you to, well, you told me it was gonna be 20,000, and now there's a busted. I don't know what those things cost. That cost a bunch of money. Anything in the home now is 25,000. Like I can't hold that to you, but I think people have to kind of learn that as well.
And I think with you, I think a lot of it, I think it's like a 50-50 relationship too. So like if you're working weekends, sending me properties, I should be responding as quick. And I think I was every single time, but I should be just as responsive to you as you are to me. So if you send me properties on the weekend, it's up to me to say if I want it or not, or we moving forward to it, or any questions. I think one property came back and you were like, I don't think this is a good deal. And at first we said we thought it was a good deal, but then something happened and you was like, I don't think this is a good deal. But you said, if you feel comfortable doing it, we would do our best. But I said, I don't want you walking on eggshells with me as an investor thinking that nothing's going to go wrong. Because I think we were just at the very top of our budget, and you said, I don't think it's a good deal, but we could pull it off. And I said, I would rather not, and take our time so that you don't feel like you don't have any room to make any mistakes.
Yeah, no, that was huge. So you guys, what we're referencing is the Heart Talks came on maybe about 3 to 4 weeks. We found a property, and I was like, this is the door. So St. Louis has a bunch of municipalities, a bunch of suburbs. And this particular suburb that I found this house in, I used to live in. I lived there for 10 years. So I know the school district. I know the streets. This was the house. So we negotiated, and we got the house under contract, and we ran inspections. And the inspections basically told me and John that we were going to have to touch every part of this house. From the floor, it was it was nothing we could not touch. So the backstory was that Section 8 tenant had been in there for about 20 years. It was probably one of the worst properties I've seen on paper. It was really, really bad. And so this is the piece that I'm trying to get at with this story. A lot of times, and people in my space and realtors, we get a bad rap because it's like, oh, just close the deal. It ain't my problem. But everything a client buys with us literally is my problem, right? I have to figure out how I can afford it, who's going to be over there fixing it up, what's going to happen. So we consider and buy everything based on our own standards, which are very high, because 1, I don't want to be in your property past 10 weeks. 2, I don't want to go over budget. And 3, my team actually bonuses when properties are not over budget. So we really make sure that every piece of why we want to buy right, of course, integrity as well, is included in our buying playbook. So as soon as I saw that inspection report, you guys, I said, this isn't the house. We can't buy this house. And if we do, if you still love it, because it was going to do what I needed it to do, it was going to stretch everybody at the table. And Anthony made the super necessary decision to say, let's pause. I don't want you to be stretched and walking on eggshells was literally the words that you use. And I appreciated that, because a lot of the times, the clients are like, just buy it. And I'm like, oh my God, you're going to be bankrupt when I'm done. Right? But it can get really hard. So I really appreciate that. We respected that from you guys as well. So I just wanted to share.
We had to make a decision too to stay within our budget. Like, we could go out there and spend more money, but we said, if we're comfortable spending this right now, you got to be comfortable as a client knowing like this is your limit. Be okay with your limit. And don't overstress yourself out either.
Just because that was the thing. We're like, well, we have the money for it. It's like, but that's not what we want to spend on this house anyway. Right? We have we have our own house coming up. We have a baby coming. We have all these things. So sticking to that was important for us.
I appreciated that. So we finally got the house, which I love. I can't wait to go back to y'all's house. I absolutely love we finally closed on a house. We closed,
Yep.
I think, over our Christmas break.
Yep.
So I'm trying not to say the street name, Jesus. So we closed on a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Oh my gosh, it's the best house. 2-bedroom, 2 full baths. And so just to describe it to people on the call right now, the master bedroom has a walk-off deck. Downstairs, it's kind of confusing. So it's like a split level. In their basement, in you guys' basement, the washer and dryer came with the unit. We got 2 refrigerators, one in the basement, one upstairs. We got a dishwasher, all of the cabinetry, all of the lighting, all of even the countertop. We're going to keep about 80% of the items in this house we're going to keep. And so when I found out that the seller was a little old lady and she was the only owner of the house for 54 years, whatever it was, and when I walked in and could see how well she kept it up, I said, this is the house for the Hard Talks, because it's going to be a layup versus a full court press. And look at me, who am I? Why did I say that?
No idea.
I don't
no basketball.
No idea. It worked.
Whoa. Who am I? It was going to be a layup, and I knew that was going to be. I didn't even know about the baby and all the other things, but I just really wanted a easy win on this first transaction. So when you guys saw the pictures and started getting the paperwork over, how did you feel about seeing something that seemed a little bit easier? Some people want a full gut flip from me, and I'm like, you sure?
Not me. You're not gonna get that from me. I'm telling you right now. That's
right. I'd be like,
not at all.
They're like,
that's
I
not
want
my
you to go to my
energy.
People want to be on Instagram, and I'm like, baby, that costs. Those clients hate me. No, I'm kidding.
Nope.
So
and I think we wanted something easy to be the first one, so that we could have, and it's a relationship too. So we want to go into this relationship where it's not like we're expecting to get married day one, but let's date a little bit. Let's go on some dates. Let's go get a nice little bottle of wine or something like that. Let's make sure the relationship is good versus going out there and talking about I'm proposing day one and it comes back like, nah, this ain't it for me. So we went in there with that understanding, like, let's go in slow. Let's figure this out. And then now the next one, maybe we do that full court press or for whatever it may be down the line. But we want to go in this first one kind of easier. That wasn't too much work on you, wasn't too much stress on us, that we could kind of get that easy win.
Yeah, for sure. I think on this house, we're really focusing on just modernizing it. So it'll feel like a very sleek and simple update. And then focusing on my floors, my lights, just giving it a little bit of an elevation, but all of the things that a homeowner would want. So when you guys ever want to sell this house, the fact that there's 2 bars and all the things you need to entertain, and then it sits on a cul-de-sac, this house has it. And so I know for a fact we definitely got a winner for sure. One of the things, you guys, I want you to try to speak to is people think that when they join us, they need to find contractors, they need to manage, they can't figure out like, okay, if I buy a house in St. Louis, who's going to do all this stuff? So can you guys just simply tell the people, have you guys lifted a finger, drove to St. Louis, flew to St. Louis? What has your relationship been like throughout this transaction with this house?
No, but he wants to fly the same.
I'm still waiting on my flight to come out there.
I'm like, for what?
I want to take the picture in front of the property.
Send the video.
I want to take the picture in front of the property. Like,
but no, we just work with the team and they send pictures. We go through the portal. We'll see the pricing. We see things as it's happening, what stage we're on. So it's basically, what do they say? Done ready? Is that the word?
Done for you?
Done for you. It's basically a done for you service. And we kind of just pay the bill. We can be as much involved or as little involved as we need to be. If we have questions, we can ask that as well, but we have meetings and stuff like that. So I think it's very hands off, which is fine for us. If you are one that needs to micromanage, maybe then that it's a little different for you, but we trust the services that you're providing. So that's the other thing as well. Yeah. Like if you're going to work with someone, you should trust what they're providing. If you're not going to trust it, then you're wasting your time, your energy, and theirs. Because I don't want anybody working with me that's like, oh, here she go calling me again. Here she go. Here she go emailing again. Like, of course, we're going to have questions. I think first-time investors are definitely going to have questions, but it was explained to us clearly enough. And I'm sure for someone that maybe at a lower level that has no idea, you'll explain it even more. and they will have access to these things. So it's not like they don't have access to tap into the portal on their own or to go see pictures on their own, you know. So for us, that has been great.
And then we also got shout outs to Brandy too, because Brandy's one of the team members, and she'll text you as often as she needs something from you. But outside of that, outside of your check-ins, there's nothing that you really. What up, Brandy? So there's nothing that you really need to be on them about. So you can. So Brandy, like we text today about turning the gas on or something like that. And that was pretty much it. She's like, hey, can you call the company and then give them my number so that they could call me out there when they need me out there. So the service is amazing. You got the Notion portal where, like she said, we go in. Like we looked at the pictures today before the live, and we saw the floors were being done, the bathrooms, and some I don't know what everything else is being done, but we saw the pictures of the transformation as it's happening too.
We're like, oh yeah, we got a property happening in St. Louis.
You forget, yeah.
Sometimes we get excited about it when we remember. Other times we forget about it.
Yeah. We like it. I like the fact that you guys are available to us when we need you. You don't disappear. So any of my clients on here, they'd be disappearing. You guys are super available to us, and we appreciate that. It makes the process so much more easy. And just like Janoko said, you guys are not micromanagers. This process works really well for, I think, business owners, six-figure earners who really have other things going on, and then they fully trust the process. So I want to make light of the portal, you guys. So anybody that's listening for the first time for the agency kind of like processes, once you join us and we buy you a house, or you buy your house, we help you buy the house. I'm your licensed realtor. So currently I'm the lead realtor. In about a month, I will not be the lead realtor. Our lead realtor buys you the house. Your house gets dropped into the portal. So every client has access to their own portal, and every 7 days, we do picture updates directly to your portal, and we'll upload. Sometimes she may do videos, but there's a lot of pictures that are uploaded so that you can see the transformation happening every week. And that's perfect for Reels or Instagram or your own knowledge. And a lot of times what we're starting to find is when it's tax time and it's time to go back and say, where did this money go? You can clearly see before and after. And that works really well for the banks as well when you're doing your BRRRR and your cash out refinances. So it's like a double whammy.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, we already talked about that. What do you guys want people to know about this process? If somebody was like, because people are going to DM you, because people always try to contact my clients. So sorry about that.
Same.
So I'll be like, relax. What do you guys want people to know about this process? I think a lot of it you already kind of hit on, but is there anything else you can share to people that are listening in on the sidelines and they can't or they haven't executed yet?
I think
No, go ahead.
I think that the hardest part about this is even if you have the money, you're essentially giving money to someone online, and you're like, I don't really. That's probably the biggest barrier of entry right there.
Sure.
Let's say everyone had the same amount of money. Let's say everybody's IG Live has the same amount of money that they were able to send to you right now. Their biggest concern is they asking themselves, what's my return? How fast am I going to get a return? It's a great question, but you shouldn't be asking yourself how fast you're going to get a return. You should know what your numbers are, but you should also be comfortable with the investment you're making. You don't want to extend yourself. You don't want to overextend your family. So you're probably sitting on the sidelines saying that, I'm afraid to send this money because I don't know what my return is going to be. I don't know how fast my return is going to be. I don't know if Gabby's going to run away with my money. You have the deed to the house, essentially. The deed is yours. It's your house.
Yours.
You don't have to physically be there for you to own the house. So that's all I would say. That's people's biggest fears right now. And that was also my biggest fears. Like, to explain to Janoko, like, all right, this is the process. This is what it's going to be. She's like, how do you know this? How do you know that? I'm like, here's the numbers.
Where did you find this person from?
So I think a lot of it is just vetting out internally, and that's kind of where it comes from.
Yeah, other than that, once you get the conversation started, because I think you guys are so responsive, it's like it doesn't feel like the person's going to run off, right? If I gave my money and then I'm waiting 3 weeks and they're like, yeah, I'm going to give you the meeting, we're going to get a meeting, you know what I mean? Then it feels like, what's happening here? But because you guys are on top of it, you get an email of what the process is going to be like. You have a conversation with Brandy to go over, okay, these are the next steps. This is how often we going to have meetings. This is how you can check in. If you see a property, you can send it to us. Like, so that whole explanation of it, I think, helps everyone to feel a bit more comfortable.
Yeah, because as soon as you get that, as soon as you sign that paperwork, your first meeting's like that week or something like that. So.
Right.
Yeah, well, we changed that, but yep, I changed it. Yep. So now we do group orientations. As soon as you pay, everybody goes into a group, and then you guys can meet. And then
that may actually make it a little bit better because now you know there's other people out there. So you run away, now you run away with everybody's stuff. So that's that's the biggest fear, I think, just not knowing what the return is. But I think with any business, you really don't know at the end of the day.
Nope.
You gotta take a chance, you gotta take a risk, and that's how you kind of succeed in life, by taking those risks. But only that you're comfortable making.
I totally agree. I definitely only want clients that are comfortable with this process. And so it's funny because everything you're saying, what people are scared about is exactly what we deal with, but also mindset. A lot of people we talk about this in the agency a lot, you guys, a lot of people have the capital, they don't have the capacity. I mean, millionaires. This client can't do this. Like, they want me legitimately to call them and come to their house and walk them through things. So, and they want a lot of access. And so once you join, you guys are kind of alluding to it. I'm not on the phone or FaceTime with you guys every single day. There's a process. You guys really respect that. But to your point, Anthony, yes, the deed is yours. A lot of people ask us, when I buy the house, whose name is it in? And I'm like, what? It's yours. It's 100% yours. So the other thing, I'll say two things about that. The first thing is that I'm a licensed realtor. So by law, I take an oath. I can go to prison if I do anything outside of these bounds, right? So by law, I take an oath to the public of people who buy Missouri real estate, right? And people lose their license all the time. It's literally not worth it to me. So that's number one. Number two is I make so much more money when you guys are happy and buying. I make more money with you than I could ever steal from you. If I keep you happy and doing transactions and closing deals, and then the impact on your story is without question that I'm going to make more money with happy clients that are singing our praises than taking a couple grand. So
and I don't
you don't have to worry about that.
I don't think people realize that. Like, we make, like, when you're in this type of space, you make more money when the people that you help make more money. Like, it's just a natural progression. Like, the more impact you're gonna have, the more income you're gonna create for yourself. So it's literally a byproduct. We have to work together to get this done. Like, even with our cleaning business, the more people that we impact, the more money we're able to make. Like, that's just a natural progression of it all.
Residual. So I want to keep people on that wheel, a good wheel, not a weird wheel, of prices and cash flowing and so forth. So I'll ask this last question. People struggle here too, you guys. In terms of tenant placement, can you walk us through who's placing your tenant, writing your lease, and doing all of the screening on that part? A lot of people are scared to hand over keys to a stranger as well.
You are. Your team is.
Yes.
That was an easy one.
That was easy.
And I think that was one of the things Janoka asked too. She was like, all right, once this is done, what's the next step? We like, well, we're staying with the same team, we're staying with the same people, and then walking us through the very end to the tenant has the keys. And at that point, you guys do the property manager. You guys have recommendations. You have referrals.
We have
because we're like, we're not in St. Louis. Obviously, we live in Dallas, and obviously we don't want the headache. We really just don't want to speak to any other. We don't need to talk to anybody else. If we speak to people all the time. Obviously, we on live all the time. We have a course. We have students. We speak to people all the time. But when somebody else can be in place of certain things, then that is fine for us, right? We know that anything that, what do I always say? What costs more? Not luxury. Something costs more money. I always say. Anyway, like groceries and everything that you get. Convenience. Anything convenient costs more money.
That's right.
But we're willing to spend that. We're willing to do that because that works for us, essentially. So,
I love it.
Yes, that was a big question for me.
Yep. So once we place their tenant, you all, they're currently in the renovation phase. Once we place their tenant, we're going to do all the screenings. We do a lot of screenings. We do a whole lot. So we're going to do a background check. We're going to do a credit check. We're going to do a criminal check. We're going to call their current landlord. We're going to call their current job. And we're going to have them upload 1 month's worth of check stubs, and you guys will get all that paperwork. Of course, it'll be in another portal we'll open up for you all, and then we're going to present to you guys 2 to 3 of our top applicants. Like, this person, this person, yay, this person, amazing, but this thing. And then from there, the client, you guys are literally going to decide, Gabby, I want you to just pick the person. I don't want to meet them. If you say that, which everybody's doing these days, I'm like, y'all are so fancy. I will pick the person, and then we do the handoff with Eden Property Management here in St. Louis. She holds all of our clients' keys. Absolutely phenomenal. And she becomes me for that house, for that tenant, right? For that process. And then we start over, or we figure out what we're going to do in terms of an appraisal or a cash out refinance or so forth.
Yeah.
So we do all of those things and walk our clients through that. Is there anything else you guys want to share?
Anything else you want to share?
Anybody? Do you guys have any questions for the Herzogs? I usually ask that.
Yeah, any questions?
You guys will answer just a few questions on here.
Of course.
If you guys have any questions about the process, about their journey so far, definitely wasn't a yellow brick road. We lost a house for sure. I feel like we lost another one, but we definitely lost one. Finally got the one under contract. They're currently in renovations. They watch all of their renovations through their online portal. You do not have to come to St. Louis. You can definitely come. You do not have to St. Louis. We'll definitely hang out with you.
Don't worry. Once that property is done, I'm booking it. Isn't we done before the baby comes?
I don't know, but either way, we're not gonna make it before the baby. So there's that.
That property's done before the baby come. I'm gonna be out there. It might be a Saturday trip to like Saturday night just to take my picture and go.
Oh wow. So no, Marissa.
There's a few there.
Marissa said, I think that's Marissa. Long-term goals for the Herzogs. Your long-term goals.
Long-term goals. So this first one, our long-term goal starts with this first one here. We want to see how it goes. I know you're not doing any flips anymore, but our goal would probably run the same play. So if we renovate this one, we do a cash out refinance, if everything goes well, kind of run that same play again. I think I think we said three properties this year, 3 or 4.
Yeah. I think so too. Yeah.
1 a quarter or something.
That was a question I had too. Before we started about the loan thing. That's a good question. Like, do you always have to use cash?
So we got a whole new
long time ago, but yeah.
Yep. So you do not. So what if your purchase? Oh, excuse me. What if you purchase using FHA? Would you have to reside in the would you have to reside in the property for the first year? You can't buy a property with me FHA.
Oh no.
That's just straight out the gate. Unless you live in St. Louis and you're going to house that. And I'm not a realtor to anybody that's not in the agency. So my realtor services are 100% exclusive. I like to groom and train up my own investors, and they just get my process. So you cannot buy a house with me FHA at all. My current investors who are buying loan, and I would say now you guys, when you guys joined, everybody was buying cash. And I'd say about 80% of the last 15 people are loan. So they have loan, and then they have cash for the renovation. So $80,000 loan, $30,000 cash, somewhere like that. And that's been working really well. We now have a preferred lender. And we just give you the link to fill out the application, and you put 20% down. You close on the house, and we start almost similar to what we've done with you guys.
But does the same thing still hold true where the cash kind of gets you that, like, cash is king for those people that's selling?
No. I mean, that's fine like that. It won't be as lucrative because they'll have that overhead as far as the mortgage. So one of the things we're focusing on is 4-figure rents, or we don't buy it at all. So that helps. And then we're pushing rents. I feel really bad when I see these articles like rent is going up, people are moving out. I'm like, oh my God, so sorry.
Everything's going up.
I know, I'm like, my bad. So if my system tells me that the rent could be $11,000 or $1,000 for your house, I'm gonna see what happens at $1,200, $1,300. And so that's been working really well. So my client has that $400 mortgage. They're still cash flowing quite a bit, but it is not as much as all of my cash clients for sure.
Okay, so now they know they could use loans too. So it's not just only cash.
Yep. Now you can use loans. We have a preferred lender. You guys can click on the link in my bio to start to fill out the application and just to learn more. And it's the realestatebae.com, and you just click I'm ready to cash flow. So we're really sticking towards that 4-figure rent. Somebody said there was one more in here. Oh, I already went over that. What's the process for a first-time buyer?
Yeah.
I feel like I went over that.
Maybe I joined late. Yeah.
Yep. So definitely watch the replay. Next week we're gonna go live. We're gonna go live with clients for the next 5 weeks. So you guys can like meet people, greet people, and see people's stories. I think it's going to help you guys understand how simple this process is, but also how normal people are. I've been asking you guys, I've been asking like homegirls and stuff that are not in real estate. What do you think a real estate investor is? These are really educated women. And they're like, oh, they're millionaires. Well, real estate investors are like, they're rich already. And they don't like a lot of I have very, very normal, outside of you guys, this is not a good example. Very normal outside of you guys.
Janoko works 2 jobs.
That's true.
It don't get more normal than that.
She is struggling. She works 2 jobs. Shoot. But yeah, but even before that, when you guys bought your first rental, still 9 to 5ers, making it work, not multimillionaires at all. So, I mean, now, let me just wrap that up.
And then another thing is like, you don't buy real estate and get rich. Like, that's not how it works. Not with one property. You're not getting rich with one. You have the money or you have the funds, you park it and it grows long term. So we didn't get real estate thinking that we get rich from it.
Exactly right. So Jay Watkins, I'll answer this question and then I will let the Heart Talks close us out. On average, how much would you need for a renovation? So I have several clients who come to me and say, Gabby, I do not want to renovate. I want to inherit tenants. And so their strategy is just tenant inheritance. So Marissa is one of them. I don't know how many properties she's bought at this point. She's buying like 1 a day. So she only inherits Section 8 tenants and we have a buttload of them. So in that case, you guys, she would not need a renovation. If you did need a renovation, we're going to work within your budget and never present you with something that is over the budget that you gave us when you joined. That's number one. Last year, the average renovation was probably about 25 to 30K in 2020, 2021. And so I'll see if we're on trend for that this year. I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We probably got 5. We got 5 renovations right now. So
but the renovations, I mean, it depends on what your total price is. But we said we want 80,000. We said we want to be all in 80,000. If the house is 40 and the renovation is 40, or if the house is 20 and the renovation is 60, it really doesn't matter. You got to know what your all-in price is at the end of the day.
That's right. Yep, he said, I wonder how she's able to pull the trigger on 1 a day. I was kidding. Marissa isn't really buying 1 property a day.
They about to go find her and be in her
wait a
DMs
minute.
too.
So she'll be on our live next week, but don't scare her, y'all. All right. Thank you guys for her talk. Do you have anything else you want to share? Any shout outs you want to give before we jump off?
Shout outs. Not necessarily.
No shout outs.
No shout outs, but you can follow us at the Heartimony. Our podcast is the Heart Dog Hustle podcast. You can follow there.
Hit that drop down arrow at the very top.
At the top.
And hit follow.
Yep.
Has the follow where you're able to follow us at. But thank you for having us and thank you for walking us through this process. We look forward to getting much more homes. If they continue like this, then it's like, okay, we could do this.
Keep it going.
We could do that. You just gave me an idea when you said she just does one where she inherits tenants. I'm like, oh, that may be another option too. Just switching it up, so.
Yeah, that's her right there, Marissa. Well, I can give you her information. So it's much cleaner.
Yeah.
And I mean, she's inherited tenants 800, 850, 950. And the strategies that you guys, and I'll give you this and we can shape. Whatever I buy for her, the tenant is underpaying. So when they move, I'm still going to do a light reno and then I'm going to increase the rent, but she's able to eat for 6-7 months without having to go into cash. So she, see what I mean? So yeah, a lot of clients are leaning towards that because it keeps you liquid for longer and it's like a little bit of a calming process.
Right.
Thanks, Marissa.
Appreciate you having us.
Thank you for having us, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Talk soon.
Have a good one. Bye.
Peace.